and welcome to this week's episode of the Melanin Muses podcast. Today, we are going to talk about burnout. Number one, what is burnout? Number two, what are the signs of burnout? And number three, how to alleviate burnout and how to work through burnout. Now, remember to like, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell down below to stay updated on our future videos. Let's get started.
Greetings to our kings, queens, and everyone in between. Welcome to Melanin Muses.
Mindful knowledge, healing hearts. We are your muses.
Cleo
and Calliope, but you can call me Callie. We're here to give you a safe space to open your mind
and to heal your heart while adding a dash of melanin flavor.
Disclaimer, we are not legal, mental, or health professionals. Although we are actively researching the topics we discuss and fact-checking our resources, please note that we are only giving our opinions and not professional advisory.
If you wish to get qualified guidance, please seek out the help of a licensed, certified professional. Let us begin. Yo, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Melanin Muses podcast. This is Cleo.
And this is Callie.
And today we are going to talk about burnout. Burnout is, in case you guys don't know, Callie, do you want to give an explanation of what burnout really is?
Oh boy. So burnout is a state of chronic stress that leads to physical and emotional exhaustion, cynicism and detachment, and feelings of ineffectiveness and lack of accomplishment. And basically, when you're in the full throes of a full-fledged burnout, you're no longer able to function effectively on a personal or professional level. So it doesn't really happen suddenly. It's kind of like a gradual progression toward, you know what, I can't. I just can't. So, uh, Cleo, how you feeling? How you feeling?
Oh, you coming at my throat because that describes me exactly. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this episode, is because experiencing and feeling burnout sucks. It just sucks. Because the things that once drove you to feel passionate and excited, and you just like wake up thinking about it, just once you reach a level of burnout, you start to feel like Callie was mentioning, just disinterested in it, no longer passionate, no longer wanting to do it, or no longer having the energy to do it. And that's exactly what I'm going through. And I wanted to share that experience with you guys, because as much as I love this podcast, I'm not perfect, and I've had moments of burnout, which I'm experiencing now. And I wanted to talk about that with you guys. So for any of you who are also going through burnout, there are ways that you can overcome it. Number one, I think, is just talking about it with someone you trust and someone who is supportive and empathetic, and they can give you that listening ear, but also not just be like, well, just give up on life and go away. But instead provide you with like steps that could potentially get you out of it, or even just being there to hear you, to help you feel validated and seen in your experiences. And quite honestly, Callie has been that for me, like just talking, and because we haven't talked in a while, because life happens. Just even getting it together to record this episode has got me energized again and excited again for this project, because she's someone that I can bounce off of, someone I can talk to about it and talk through the feelings, and to differentiate, like, okay, why am I feeling this way? What are ways that I can combat this, or things that I can change in my day-to-day life in order to alleviate this issue? Anything to add to that?
Oh my goodness, you always know how to brighten my day, Jiminy. But basically, burnout is just, it's really weird because burnout can be just confused with stress a lot of the time. And you know how companies kind of work us as if we're machines and expect us to go above and beyond the call of duty in order to accomplish the company mission. That's normally how burnout begins, because we start to apply ourselves in places that zap us of our energy and our creativity a lot of the time. And if going through that over a long period of time is not quite damaging. And it's just something that we really have to acknowledge first and foremost. Admitting that you have burnout is the first step to being able to treat yourself for burnout. It's not like a cold or a flu where you suddenly get into it and then you can wait for it to run its course and get back out of it. Burnout takes active and intentional change and progress in order to get better. So, normally, if you're going through burnout, it's because your warning bells of stress are going off. Your body is telling you, okay, enough is enough. I don't like what's happening here, and we need to make some changes because I'm just going to wreak havoc on you until you decide to change your ways. So, a few things you can do to combat burnout is first and foremost, rest. Just rest. If you're stuck in a job that won't allow you to get the rest you need, that's what PTO is for. You take that time because you've earned it, and you make sure you spend that time recuperating, getting good sleep, making sure that you're eating well enough. Just essentially, if you take a look at my self-care episode, there are key things in there that could help while you're healing yourself from your burnout. So check that out if you get a chance. But in the meantime, rest. So so Cleo, how you feel about that? You want to get some rest? That's step one, man.
Why are you calling me out like that? Like, why? You see, we came on this to help people and you just calling my butt out. Nah, yeah. So, all right, I'm gonna tell y'all, I am like the worst at trying to rest. I just try to do 20,000 things at once to the point I get overwhelmed, and then my brain is just like, no. So then I wound up just burning out and watching Netflix because my body and my mind want to recuperate, but the stubbornness in me is like, no, I want to work. And then it's not quality work. And then I get even more frustrated and even more burnt out. It's a cycle. I'm working on it. But no, Callie definitely has a point of, even for those of us who are just stubborn, very stubborn Leos, sometimes we really do just have to take a step back, as Callie has been trying to beat into my skull, and just do things that, don't you laugh at me. I know you're right. And you're looking all freaking smug. She looking smug and she laughing over here. She muted herself so you won't hear her laughing. But yeah, it can be very difficult to just actually stop and to enjoy. I think the mental aspect of the constant need to be productive, and that's one of my problems. It's just been drilled into my head from previous experiences. Any time not spent working is wasted time, and it's really, really hard to break out of that and just remind yourself it's okay to slow down, like enjoy life, enjoy the little things, take that walk, drink that cup of coffee, eat that good food, and just watch that Netflix show, cuddle up with a partner and just relax and enjoy the moment. You don't always have to work. You don't always have to do anything. Just take time to recoup. Dang, I'm preaching to the choir. I hate you.
See, I'm here to help. I'd rather you hate me because that means we're on our way to progress. We're going to get through this.
Are you still going therapist on me now?
Baby.
Oh, child. See, you guys are lucky. You are not sitting on the opposite side of the screen with this woman. All right, go on to the next point. Leave my butt alone. Go.
So, there are 6 areas you have to pinpoint that are possibly causing you these problems. And so
I don't like this episode anymore.
For everyone, I'm just, just giving you some tips and tricks to use. So yeah, here's the 6 points that most likely are causing your burnout. So if you look at your workload, if your workload is getting more heavy or much more difficult for you to manage on your own, that's definitely something that you can start to evaluate. How can you lessen your workload? Who can you reach out to delegate those responsibilities to lighten your load? Control or lack thereof is another area that might be causing some of your problems. If you feel like you don't have any control in a given situation, it might be time to kind of reevaluate where you are and figure out how you can get the control that you're looking for. The third area is rewards. Do you feel like you're being exploited where you are? Are you being taken for granted? Do you feel as if all of the hard work that you're putting forward is not amounting to anything? It's definitely a good idea to start to evaluate what rewards you wish to see and how you can achieve that, which goes into fairness. If you feel like you're being treated unfairly, if you're in a hostile work environment, or you feel like things are unjust, that might be a cause for alarm. Community is another big one. If you feel like there's a lack of support or camaraderie from your colleagues, or worse, if there's backstabbing and mean spiritedness happening, it might be the community that's causing a lot of the issue. And you feel like you're alone, or you don't have anyone that you can rely on or trust with, or even a sense of security. And finally, your values. What's going on with your values? Are you working against your inherent drive or your beliefs? Are you sacrificing your sense of self for the goals that you're trying to achieve? All of these areas could easily be contributing to the burnout that you're feeling. And by kind of sitting down and looking at those pieces, it might help put things in perspective for how you can kind of shift that and slowly make your way out of a burnout situation.
I'm just letting it process, guys. Um, because there is like each of those points kind of directly correlates to what I'm going through now in life. So it's really funny. And this episode, I low key regret, but I know it's necessary. So that way it can possibly help you guys. But every single point she mentioned is very, very important. And it's true. It does contribute to burnout when you don't feel like you can connect with people at work and whatnot. Like even for me in general, just being a foreigner living in a different country, it can be overwhelming, especially when you're not fluent in the language. And it is a culture about community. So you're always like the outside looking in, unless you're lucky enough to find and build your own community here, whether it's with locals or with other expats or foreigners, or a combination of the two. And you don't realize how important, let's just say community for now, you don't realize how important community is until you're stripped from it, until you are put into a situation where you don't have a community and you have to build that from scratch. Um, and that's something that I'm learning as well. Like the people you surround yourself with are incredibly vital to your growth. They're incredibly vital to like survival mentally, emotionally, even professionally. So that's very important to keep in mind. And when you're surrounded by like people can be nice, people can be very cordial, very sweet. But if you don't feel like a community there, then it can really damage your mental and emotional health. And trust, believe, I know. And then when she was talking about feeling exploited or being treated fairly, it's almost like where you feel like you don't have a voice. If you're put into a position where you feel like you're just there to exist, to just do one thing mediocre, or if you try to do something more and it's kind of like put down, like, oh, that's too much effort, too much work. And you're constantly kind of like, even if it's unintentionally done, and not done out of malice and not done out of spite, but just done because of cultural differences or just differences in opinion, and you don't have much power to change that, it can be incredibly draining. And in my case, if it's like I'm a creative type, but I'm in a position where I don't have a lot of freedom to utilize that creativity, and it's so stifling and it's so draining. And that's definitely something that I realize is important moving forward to whatever next position I decide to take, or just even focusing more on this podcast or the YouTube. So those points are, they're just very important for your own mental sanity to take into consideration when choosing a life path. So if you want to work a 9 to 5 and you need to make money, great. But remember to keep in mind that when you interview for a job, is not only they are interviewing you to see if you are a good fit, but you should also take effort into interviewing them to see if they are a good fit for you. And granted, I understand that money can be a very important factor, especially if you're struggling. But if you can, do your best to find a place that will value you and your skills and what you have to offer, because down the line, you're going to thank yourself for it rather than just like chugging along, like, oh, I can do it, just save the money for 10 years and go about my day. Once you get out, that's going to take a crap ton of like self-healing to fix that, just grinding for the money. So make sure it's worth it. Yeah.
I'm so proud of her, guys. I'm so proud. That's exactly the message we're trying to send. Yes, we've made a breakthrough.
Y'all don't know how much I want to throw my shoe through this damn camera. Don't you dare turn off your camera.
It was an accident.
We ain't going through that. No, nah. I want to reach through this camera, just whack you in the head with my shoe, like, shut your face. I mean, fine. You just go, just speak your words, woman.
But I hope that these tips will help anyone who finds themselves in a similar situation. Burnout is real. Burnout is a very scary place to find yourself. And if you can pinpoint those 6 areas that might be causing you problems in your current work or professional life, just understand it will translate into your personal and health. Just be mindful and try to pick the best path for you based on what you need.
100%. On that note, I feel like this was a good way to like kind of touch upon this subject, like as a quick kind of like a venting episode, because it's like this is happening in real time, you know, guys, and we want to be, we strive to be as authentic and real as possible, because we don't want to come at you with like, here's a script and here's this and here's that, but we want to connect with you in a way that's authentic, so you know that we genuinely want to be here for you and lead by example, by like our struggle. Seeing someone going through something that's similar to you, you know you're not alone. So that's one of the reasons why it was kind of like a vent episode, just to show you, you know what, you're not alone. We all have struggles, we all have burnout, we all have moments where we just need to just chill. And it's hard. It can be very hard, but you can get through it, and we believe in you. So you are seen, you are heard, you are loved, and you are valued. And we really appreciate you sticking around and listening to us up to season 2, all of these episodes. And we look forward to connecting with you and communicating with you in the future episodes as well. So on that note, this is Cleo.
And this is Callie getting on her last nerve.
Oh my God. Goodbye, y'all.
Goodbye.
Hey everyone, and thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Melanin Muses podcast. Remember to please like, subscribe, and hit that little notification bell down below to stay updated on our future episodes. We'll see you next time. Bye!